right, I'm going to be completely honest with you. This is my third attempt because the first two just went horribly. Enjoy the movie. Get some snacks. It's going to be a long one. It's shorter than my other ones, but still a good hour and 40 minutes long. Ends pretty well, I think. It might end terribly, but for me, I think it ends well. So just drop a comment if you're new here. Put potato if you just came here, because I like potatoes. Just drop it in the comments or just say hi. My Discord will be down there if you want to follow me on Discord. Anyway, thanks for watching and enjoy the movie. To be continuing over is the Quirk ranking system, and this will just be so you can tell, oh, where's this Quirk in the Quirk theory place thing. Where does the Quirk lie within the series? Now, I felt like I should probably clear things up a bit. So, the Quirk meter will be going off like what I think the Quirk could become. So, you know Bakugo's Quirk, it's quite good at the beginning, but it has a hell of a lot of potential to get better. That's why I think that would be a B rank Quirk, at most an A rank Quirk. S rank is the highest rank. D or E rank will be the lowest rank. I'll figure that one out. Probably use the new My Hero game, by the way. It's an absolute blast to play. It's a mobile game. But I am waffling. I've waffled for 3 minutes now, so let's get back on track with the Quirk system thing. So just to put a pinpointer, Bakugo's Quirk is a B rank at the minute. If he unlocks more things, so this will be B rank anime, I want to say, yeah. We'll go B rank anime. If he unlocks more things, he'll become A rank or an S rank. So you're probably wondering, where does, well, One for All, this is manga edition, One for All, that's S rank. If you know about that one, you'll know why it's S rank. In the anime at the minute, where are we? Where are we even at in the anime? I would say it's probably, we'll go B rank 2. Did I put Bakugo's in B rank? Yeah, I did. Well, right, okay. So anyway, now it's time to start with the plot. So, you're probably wondering, where does Deku's Quirk lie on the whole Quirk meter? And what even is Spider-Man's Quirk? That's very vague, with Miles Morales out there, Peter Parker, Gwen, Peter Parker as well. I forgot Gwen's last name, I'm so sorry. Anyway, so, to clear things up, I am doing the Peter Parker version of Spider-Man. This will be the basic line of powers that I think is like the basic underlying powers of Spider-Man. This is so it's easy to keep track and everything. So, where does it lie on the rank scale? And right now it lies at A/B. This is because two things are at fault. First of all is Spider Sense. He's still not figured that one out. The reason I'm doing this is because if he had full-on Spider Sense, he would be unbeatable in the My Hero universe, virtually, because he'll be able to dodge everything. He will get this figured out at certain points, but basically I'm making sure that it's event triggered. This is so that he doesn't become overpowered as hell. Unless you want me to make him overpowered as hell, just drop a comment and I'll just go all out, you know, because honestly, you guys shaped the series because you guys are watching, but so far, Spider Sense is on the, what do you call it? The bench, the sideline. Sorry about that, just hit my mic. As for his web slinging, of course, that's, unless you're talking about Sam Raimi's, any other incarnation of Spider-Man, his web slinging is not a power, it's a mechanic. It's like a suit upgrade, I want to say. So right now that's also on the bench, meaning that all he has is the ability to climb walls and super strength, so that's why it's only a B rank at the minute. You're probably like, that's pretty nice for a B rank. Well, just to get a little understanding of his power, I don't know whether they really show his strength that much, but A, he stops a train, that's pretty nice. B, in one of the comics, can't remember the name of the comic, but in one of the comics, Spider-Man Spider-Man gets taken over by Octavius. Sorry if I messed up his name there. And Doc Ock goes to punch somebody and realizes that it just kills him straight off bat. That's how strong he is. Spider-Man can beat a normal person in one punch. That's why I think within the My Hero universe, he is around a B rank Quirk, because he could probably take on Bakugo at the minute, and that's with Bakugo's training. This is... Well, no. But no, in fact, I'm putting him at C rank without all his training, B rank with training, and then A rank... well, no, he's off the charts. He's S rank when he gets his spider senses. So, yeah. Jeez, that discussion was convoluted, didn't make much sense, and went on for way much longer than I expected it to, but hey, we'll go with it. So, time to get into the story. Now I'm also going to iron another thing out. This is a quirk. The reason I'm making it a quirk is so that Deku gets it pretty earlier, and it kind of changes his personality, as cringy as that is. And number two, this is a second thing that's coming with the quirk, and this is because it's my piece of writing. He's still Deku, but he's going to be taking Peter Parker's intelligence. This is because I feel like it'll fit in the story better, and if you don't know Peter Parker, he's quite intelligent, you know, because he's a nerd and all that. So that's why I'm kind of bringing it along, you know, taking the good parts, blah, 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 blah. It will come in important later. So, anyway, Deku, he's a normal child. He wants to be a superhero, but he hasn't got his quirk yet, so he's in school. Everything's going normal. Bakugo gets his quirk. This sends him down a power craze. Would it be a power tunnel? Where he goes insane about power, blah, 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 blah. That goes all the same. Just where it differs is Deku doesn't get bullied. This is because when they tried bullying him for not having a quirk, because he's still a slightly less blah, 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 blah. When they tried bullying Deku for not having a quirk, because he's still a slightly late bloomer, not like a no bloomer or a late bloomer, he's just like a couple months late, so they pick on him, and Deku stands up for another person, you know, like he usually does. And instead of getting the crap beaten out of him, Deku manages to hit him back. This, because it's Kid Deku, he doesn't have his full spider strength. So, right. Sorry, let me clear things up. So, if you guys remember, Deku got into the fight with the three bullies, you know, the one with the wings, the eyes, and the other stuff, yeah? If you remember that, when they were kids. Deku's defending somebody, Deku got into a fight. Well, that still happens because Deku's perceived as quirkless at that one point, but out of the mystical plot armor, fate, or whatever you want to call it, Deku gets his quirk at that point, so they punch Deku, Deku takes the hit, but Deku basically shakes off the hit due to them not having any strength amplifiers and him basically being a superhuman at this point. So Deku then hits him. Due to him being a kid, it only breaks her arm, and due to him just now getting his powers at that exact moment, it was like, you know, the scene where the spider genes like spread across his body. It's like that, but with a quirk genes, I guess you could say, if you want to put some image in there in your brain. And basically Deku basically I repeated basically multiple times, but in summary, Deku beats the hell out of these kids in one punch. He don't kill him, he don't put him into a state where they're like in a coma, blah 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 blah. He just hits him with an arm. This all gets brushed off. The bullies don't mess with him because they've seen what he can do, but the reason he don't get big punishment for this is because Deku didn't know how to control his powers. So he does go to the quirk doctor to find out what his powers are. That's when they find out his powers about his super strength, and they also find out about his climbing powers. And the doctor says, oh, he could be a really good hero. He says it with one of those evil grins because he is an evil doctor. Spoiler alert if you didn't know that. Oops. Probably shouldn't have dropped that. Oops. But that'll be revealed further down in the line. So basically what I'm saying is people won't mess with Deku anymore because Deku got his strength at the perfect time to mess with the bullies. And he also saved a kid because he's heroic. He does feel a bit guilty, so this is where he starts to get some sort of mentality in his head just to set back the fundamentals of his character. He gets the mentality into his head that he should pull back his punches so he doesn't hurt anybody else. He doesn't want to go break their arm. Yeah, so I hope that made sense, but we're going to move on. So how does this affect the people around him? Like I said, Deku doesn't get bullied, which makes Deku more confident but still heroic because he watches All Might videos even more now. He knows more about All Might. He researches the hell out of more heroes being inspired by himself and the mentality of him becoming a hero. He also signs up to martial arts classes to learn some fighting skills so he can get the go-ahead on his on the people who also want to become heroes like him, because he is a kid and he doesn't know any fighting styles. So this is where he'll start learning some fighting styles as a kid. Bear in mind he's like 5 years old. Oh, what other stuff? Oh yeah, finally, most importantly, how does it affect Bakugo? It doesn't affect him at all. Hear me out here. This is because Deku and Bakugo drift apart because Bakugo still feels like his power's stronger than Deku's, because sure, Deku could break his bones with physical contact, but due to Bakugo's explosions, he believes that Deku could never get hit near him. Of course, he doesn't mess with Deku anymore because he feels Deku is stronger, but he still has that kind of god complex that he has within the canon. I don't know whether it's a god complex, but I'm calling it that. Right, now, I'm gonna put this into a part 2 that will come out later today. The reason I'm splitting it here, Bakugo's still arrogant as hell, but he's not telling Deku to, do what he tells Deku. I don't know if I can say that with the Mr. YouTube evil gods out there, and I don't want this video to get taken down, but you know what he says. So, yeah. None of the bullies mess with Deku anymore because they are officially scared of him because Deku broke somebody's arm. That means that everybody's scared of Deku, and Deku's seen as a social outcast. But this recovers after a year or so because people forget, they forgive Deku's a bubbly guy. Also, the bullies kind of keep it under wraps because they don't want to be seen as weak because then that loses their bully status. But Bakugo's basically got a newfound hatred of Deku because he seems as powerful, so it's kind of like a rivalry, but it's safe to say that they're still in the same position as they were before, they just got there a different way. Anyway, time to focus on Deku. So, Deku ended up going to martial arts classes, but then he realizes, wait, no, in martial arts classes, we're going to have to fight each other, we're going to have to spar each other. So he does what Danny does from Karate Kid and learns from a book. This means that his fighting style is sloppy and he is not used to fighting because he's learning from a book, but he thinks this is the safest way around it because he doesn't know whether he can pull punches. This is because of his hidden fear about hurting somebody again, because he doesn't find that very heroic, which is fair because breaking somebody's arm isn't very heroic if they're just a bully. So, anyway, let's get into the juicy potatoes. So, time for the sorry about that. Right, get into the juicy potatoes. So, Deku walks. Well, no, Deku's now the age he is in the anime. Sorry, I completely forgot the age. I'm gonna take a wild guess and go 14 years old. So Deku's 14 years old. Bakugo is 14 years old. Bakugo doesn't tell him to swan dive, meaning that Deku gets home a little earlier, but this doesn't stop him from walking into the slime monster. So he walks into the slime monster and he realizes that there's no way to escape. He tries running up the walls and then the slime monster can't chase him, but he but then the slime monster's like, well, if you don't come down, I'm going to attack the people around him. So Deku's like, oh, okay, what do I do here? So Deku's like, well, what would All Might do? Then it cuts back to all them times All Might charged in, even though it was an impossible save, and he saved him anyway. So Deku was like, fine, I'm gonna have to jump into the slime monster. So what he does, he goes from the building he's climbed, jumps off the wall, cracking the wall, and just goes head first with his fists out, charging at the slime monster. Of course, this is after trying to punch the slime monster normally and trying to dodge it. He tried using some of the karate moves he's learned, but that's when he realizes, oh wait, I've learned them from a book. Not very useful. So, Deku, he does that little charge stomping. This just makes him jump into the slime monster, where he's getting like picked up and swallowed. But the slime monster is like, wow, that was pretty impressive, you know. If you were any stronger, or if you were any smarter, you probably could have taken care of me. But hey, I guess not. And then Deku starts choking, but that's of course when All Might jumps in, and Deku's of course still knocked out because, believe it or not, even though his like exterior is stronger, he still does run out of oxygen, because I don't think Spider-Man has any oxygen powers as far as I know of. Correct me if I'm wrong there, because I know Spider-Man can get some really bizarre powers. Like, one time he turned into a spider, which, honestly, you know what? Wasn't that weird? No, it was pretty weird. Anyway, back on track. So, All Might saves Deku. Deku doesn't jump onto All Might's leg this time, though, because as much as he wants to ask him questions, Deku thinks about it a lot more and realizes that All Might has stuff to do. So, All Might jumps away. Deku ends up going home. This is when, this is after getting the book signed, but All Might has also realized that there's a second book there. This is one thing I have not mentioned yet, and this book is called the Inventor's Book. So, Deku, due to his Peter Parker intelligence, he realizes he's got the same attributes as a spider, being able to climb on walls and having stupid strength. So he's thinking of what spiders can do to become more, well, what he could do to kind of become more spider-like. He's come up with some costume designs, but most of his costume designs are more based off the original All Might-esque costume, not the spider costume. But the most important thing about this Inventions book is it labels out other people's inventions and labels out his own prototypes. The reason he carries it around with him in case he sees a hero and he can write down some of their equipment. So basically what this book symbolizes is Deku coming up with inventions for himself, and basically Deku just writing down everything so he can invent stuff, because he's smart. He's like super smart. He also did enter himself up to a contest that I've completely made up and should probably explain now. So, about 2 months ago, there was a contest online through online Instagram and all that to come up with the best inventions. What Deku invented was a prototype of the spider webs. He said that this would work for okay, yeah, no, just scrap that whole last part. I'm gonna think of another way around this, because I've hit a brick wall, so completely scrap that part. But Deku, he is working on spider webs, but it's still in scraps. He doesn't have the money or the materials to basically build the spider webs, but he's working on the spider webs because he realizes his attributes like a Spider-Man, and this inventor's book is helping him do that, as well as thinking of other things that a hero could use. So basically, he has this inventor's book to help him with the suit and help him with the future spider webs. Completely scrap the story about the competition. So, anyway, Deku goes home, and of course he works on his book. blah 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 blah, but because he didn't jump with All Might, no one else gets in trouble, nor does he get One for All. Now, I can retcon this later on and give him One for All later on in the story, if you guys want. This is why I want you to put it down in the comments, because if you tell me if I should give him One for All or not, that'll help me out a bunch, so yeah, thanks for that. Also, sorry if I sound like I'm Russian, I've completely lost track of where we are. But just to summarise everything that's happened up to this point, is Deku, time skip happened, Deku tried going to martial arts, didn't work, Deku then just learnt from a book, that didn't work, so Deku got into a fight with Slime Monster, lost, All Might jumped away without being intertwined with Deku. Deku is an invention book, but hasn't got anywhere close to inventing the spiderwebs, due to the fact that he doesn't have the money to keep up with the research, but he's got basic ideas jotted down. He also has ideas about his super suit jotted down. Right, okay. So, since there's like a 10-month gap, I feel like I should probably explain what he's going to do in that 10-month gap. So, this is where the story goes a bit lop-tee-loo, I guess you could say. I tried penciling it in earlier, but it just wasn't working. So Deku, he needs to get to Island somehow early. So how will he get there? Well, Professor Shield has suddenly come up with the initiative that he needs more budding engineers to help him discover hero suits and stuff. He sees that Deku has an almost perfect GPA. This is because of his intelligence that comes with the new spider quirk that I've invented. So that's when Deku gets an invite for an application to get to Island, and the Island application is very secretive, so no one really knows about it, and he got sent it through his mother's email. And it's due to all his dad's business connections that Professor Shield found out about him. Oh yeah, his dad's like a businessman now. Not like a famous businessman, just a businessman. I'll go more into that later. God, I hope they don't make his dad Summit. If his dad becomes Summit, then this completely retcons his idea. But anyway, so basically Deku's got an invite to Island. Well, it's kind of like an invite to the competition. So lots of people have been sent this email, and what this email says is, do you want to go to Island? If so, give me a reason why you should come and show me some of your work. Deku's like, wait, if I go to Island, I can maybe, compete, or maybe make some of my costume designs and all that. So Deku sends the message in, and he also says that he's a huge fan of All Might and splurts on about All Might, so he says he'd love to meet Professor Shield. He photocopies his inventions book and sends that in so Professor Shield can see his inventions and all that. And basically what he does, he sends in a bunch of reasons why he thinks he could go to Island. So if you don't know where this could be going, basically what I'm setting him up is that he's spending the summer in Island. Now, I realise I've done this with the last couple what ifs. The reason I'm doing this is because it jigs it up a bit from just following canon, and also stops him from getting One for All for a bit. Because if he does get One for All, by the way, put in the comments whether you think he should, I want him to get it later on. And this is because I feel like he'll be way too strong with it right now. Because his body could probably take One for All. No, could take One for All. Because you got to think, he was a skinny lad, but due to his quirk, he's now buff. Like, way too buff. Like Spider-Man buff. But to get back on track, he is going to spend his, like, holiday, 10 months training. He's spending that on Island. And this means that he can work a lot on his suits and everything, because it's like a summer internship that only the few pristine people get to go to. This is also where I'm going to leave Pat. He's about to go to Eye Island. Now, I discussed about Eye Island earlier, and you're probably like, "There's never a competition." Well, it's a what if. So there's now a competition. Um, Midoriya, due to his heightened intelligence that comes with his spider quirk, kind of a what if there. So I'm just gonna push that in there. So he has got higher intelligence, especially when it comes to inventing things. This meant he got in easily past the competition, and he's flown over to Eye Island. His mum has of course said yes. She's sad that his son's going at such a young age, but she also understands that this is his dream. Now, so the plane drive happens. It's a private jet with a few other students that have won the competition. Deku came first. Basically, there's 5 spots. Deku got in. Charlie and the Chocolate Factory kind of thing. I don't know. I don't know, but either way, he got to Eye Island. As soon as he got to Eye Island, he was greeted with Professor Shield and Melissa Shield, and yeah, they all said hi, hello, how are you doing? They greeted, exchanged, just had a sip of the coffee. Of course, that didn't happen. I had a sip of the coffee, but you know what? It's fine. So anyway, they all exchanged details and everything. Blah 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 blah. Deku was shown to his room and told that tomorrow all the festivities and stuff are starting. Tomorrow we're gonna have like an open day, like you do at school. If you don't know what an open day is, it's like a day where you don't really do quote unquote work, because you gotta think this whatever 10 weeks is for Deku to learn basically. So anyway, let's get back on track. So then Melissa knocks on all the new people's rooms that night, because they came like midday. By midday, I mean like 10 o'clock. They were in the rooms for 2 hours, and Melissa knocked on Deku and the rest of the students' rooms at 12 and got them all in a group. This is before all the school starts, and basically said, "Hi, I'm here to show you around the island." So that happens. Melissa and Deku connect. This is because Melissa's, of course, related to All Might, kind of. Like the brother, sister. No, not brother and sister. Uncle, daughter. Uncle. Oh, what's it called? The uncle bond they have, and Deku is a huge fanboy of All Might. Melissa, of course, noticed that knocking on his room because he was unpacking. He'd unpack all this stuff. Of course, he brought his iconic All Might figures because, if you remember his Dawn, you know how Deku is with All Might. He loves him. So Melissa and Deku connected on that, and then they also connected on inventing and all that stuff. So basically, they connected a lot more than the other students, because the other students were very, how do I say this, like, less rebelly, as Melissa's a little bit more rebelly, and they're a lot, like, hard-headed, but Deku's not, because he's not like I'm gonna break the rules. He's just a lot more laid back than the other ones, who are a lot more all science inventions. Of course, Deku did connect with her a bit with the inventions bit, but the other 4 people there connected with each other, as Deku connected the most with Melissa, and Melissa connected the most with Deku, so they're close friends. So anyway, these guys went out for about 2, 3, 4 hours, just looking around the island and stuff. They grabbed something to eat, of course, all expenses covered by, well, I want to say Melissa, but covered by the island itself, because Professor Shield is rich, because he made an island sanctuary thing. However he made it, he's still rich. Anyway, so this day ended. Now I'm gonna do a little bit of a time skip. Well, no, it's the next day. Deku, he gets introduced to all the lab equipment. This is because he's now at the lab, and he basically gets told that they're going to be working on mock hero suit. This is when Deku gets pulled aside, and he gets, well, no, Deku doesn't get pulled aside, but he gets he gets pulled aside. The rest of the students are working on a mock hero suit for other superheroes. That's when Professor Shield directly goes to Deku in a separate corner, of course. How about you work on your own hero suit? This is because Professor Shield Well, when they applied, they were told what they wanted to be when they were older. The rest told them they wanted to be inventors, but Deku told him he also wanted to be a hero. And Professor Shield also knows his quirk, and of course he's not dumb. He realized he looked like he had the quirk of a spider, so that's when I was like, okay, use my resources to make a hero suit for yourself rather than other people, and it should be perfect because it'll be to your qualifications. Blah blah blah. So basically, just to summarize, Deku is working on a super suit for himself, basically, as the rest are working on experimental suits for other people. So, like, one would be working on one for Midnight. That's not what they're all working for. Ones on different superheroes from different countries, because this is a new thing I'm going to add in a little bit later, which is now that all the people are from different countries. No, never mind, scratch that, because then they won't know Japanese, so all the... Just scratch everything I just said. They're all doing different heroes from Japan. Some less well-known heroes, some more well-known heroes. I'm not going to name it, because basically they're irrelevant. Anyway, so Melissa Shield is checking in on all of them, seeing how they're doing. And she's especially checking in on Deku. I'm going to skip now another 3 months. Yeah, 3 months. Deku's finished making his hero suit, everyone else has finished making the hero suits. So you're probably wondering, what's in Deku's hero suit? So, Deku's hero suit, first of all, it's a lot more tighter than his suit in the show. So in the show, he has a lot, like, a loose-fitting, bulky suit. Like, I'm off for the newer suit, so the most newest suit. You know, with the gloves, the bulky flick gloves, and the bulky iron soles. This isn't true for his Spider-Man suit. This is because he doesn't really need help with strength, does he? Because he has strength. He doesn't. He isn't fully focused on power. He's more basically his suit is agile, so he can dodge stuff. It looks like the Iron Spider suit, and the reason he's gone for the spider familiarity is because of his quirk. The colour scheme is different though, because the colour scheme is based off All Might's colour scheme, and bits and pieces, but basically, to summarise it up, it looks similar to the Iron Spider, but with All Might's colour scheme to the kind of like commemorate All Might, but it's Spider-Man's suit, but different colour. Just imagine that in your head. So like, if All Might and Spider-Man suit merged together, taking Iron Man's model but All Might's character. Hope that makes sense for you all. This suit has certain things that Deku's put into it. Sorry, just took a sip there. One thing he did put into this is heat regulation. The reason he's done this is so that he can go against a hero like Endeavour a lot more better, or work in heated or cold environments. So let's say he went to somewhere like Brazil, where it's really hot. He could work like normal because his suit will cool him down. This is because his quirk is a lot more based off his ability, you know, with him having to run and everything. So it's a lot physical based. But because it's basically, it regulates his heat. This took a whole month to apply, and it's quite high technology. The next thing that was heavily focused on was the AI, which was kind of like open source and actually made by Melissa, who helped him code the AI. So the AI for the suit is made by Melissa, basically, and like given this was open source to the rest of the students, so they have this AI too. Deku tweaked it a bit, of course, with his magic invention. This only took a day to implement because Melissa helped him out, basically. Melissa just did the whole AI thing for him. So what he focused the other 2 months on was the web shooters. He had this planned from the start because he realised it works really well with his quirk, making it great for mobility for him, and also well, due to him living in the city, it's great for mobility, also great for capture device, and it's also suiting his like kind of theme he's having going on with the spider. So these webs are exactly the same in the. Well, have you seen Iron? No, not Iron Man. Sorry, uh, Spider-Man: Homecoming. They're like if you've played the Spider-Man game, it's the basic webs. Of course, there'll be more upgrades, but it is just the basic webs. This is to stop all complication. Blah 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 blah. And the final thing about his suit is well, no, that's about it. Heat regulation. This does work in extreme conditions as well. So yeah, now you're probably wondering, for the next 7 months, the inventor students worked on other projects like making better security robots and stuff. But Deku was actually pulled aside. The reason Deku was pulled aside is because Professor Shield and Melissa Shield kind of had a weird plan for Deku. This is because they realized that they wanted to make him the next All Might. The reason they wanted to make him the next All Might is because after this 3 months, they realized, well, Melissa realized, that was really charismatic, a great hero. Professor Shield is, of course, he knows about All Might's dwindling position, and Deku, he's been monitoring Deku too, and realizes he has the proper spirit to be a hero. Not just that, they also realize he wants to be a hero himself. And one key thing, they realize he's smart. He's smart. He has the power to basically, well, he doesn't quite have the overwhelming power of All Might, but he has quite a strong quirk. But not just, he's good-hearted, but not just that, he's smart. He was able to make most of his own suit, doing something revolutionary like the webs, which has not ever been done before, which makes him quite, rare. So that's why they saw him as a perfect candidate to be the next symbol of peace, doing this behind All Might's back, kind of. Although All Might would probably support it, because, helping a superhero rise, basically. So anyway, so the rest of the class are now separated from Deku, Melissa, and Professor Shield. Of course, they're still keeping somewhat an eye on them, but they're focusing on Deku. This is because in the time where, well, no, they've built a security robot. Now, this security robot is like, it's not made to be malicious, but it's made to attack Deku and counter Deku, and basically, it's made to train Deku. So for the next 7 months, 7 weeks, I think. Was it weeks or months? Whatever. If I said months in the past, it's months. If I said weeks in the past, it's weeks. Basically, I think it's months. So for the next 7 months, Deku's training with this robot. So, what does this robot teach him to do? So, sorry I said so like 4 times in a row, but anyway. Due to what the comments said, they said to make him OP if I want to, and since it's me, I'm gonna make him OP. I've decided to give him a spider sense. So what this 7 months training did, it unlocked his spider sense, taught him how to use spider sense, and basically he can now use it to predict the moves and dodge the moves. So he can perfectly dodge the robot if he's given enough time to dodge. Bear in mind, Spider-Man can basically dodge a bullet blank, a bullet like straight up, so he can easily dodge the robot's punches. It helped him increase his strength. Of course, he's already buff due to that, but it just gave him experience and also showed him how he could use the webs to attack. And then he spent a month learning how to swing with the webs as well, because they realised that he's gonna have to explore the city. So anyway, he says goodbye to Professor Shield and Melissa Shield. They're actually quite close. They have each other's phone numbers, and he promises to keep in touch. But it's the end of the 10 months, and he goes home to Japan. And I don't know what city they live in. I know, really bad, unprofessional of me, but wherever UA is. He goes home and gets ready for the UA exam, which will be happening within a week's time. The reason I've given that week is to recover from jet lag, say hello to Inko Midoriya, blah 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 blah. So basically, to summarize it all, Deku has got the suit, he's trained, and he's gone home. Of course, he's not authorized to practice with his quirk anymore, but he does do strength training with unreasonable amounts of weights that he actually made. Well, no, were made for him by Melissa Shield and Professor Shield. They made these weights for him that help him lift extra strong so he can get stronger. Basically, weights that suit him more than a normal weight would, so he can actually build up his strength. This is where I'm going to be finishing this episode video. So, Deku has just arrived home. He's had a week of rest, relaxation, getting in with Inko Midoriya, meeting her, blah 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 blah, and he's ready for the UA exam. He walks up nervous, so nervous that even though Spider Sense goes off, he doesn't notice it and he trips up. This is when he's saved by Inko Midoriya. What? Let's go again. This is when he's saved by a Chaku. Sorry about that. This is when he's saved by a Chaku, and they both have a nervous encounter. Of course, Deku's a lot more braver this time, A, because of his quirk, B, because he's been talking to Melissa Shield this whole time. So they have a full conversation and they walk in together, just talking about, oh, how you doing, blah blah blah. He finds out her quirk is float. She finds out his quirk is Spider-Man, but it's not called Spider-Man. The quirk is called... What did I call the quirk? I'll name the quirk now. The quirk is called Spider. Creative. I know. So anyway, this conversation continues until they get into the hall. They actually sit down together, and that's when Bakugo comes up and sits near Deku as well, and Ida sits somewhat far away. Deku doesn't mutter this time, so he's not called out by everybody, but he does note it down in his head, a lot more quieter this time. Blah 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 blah. We're going into the testing hall. The reason Deku doesn't mutter is because he's not as nervous, if that makes sense. So he's nervous enough to make a mistake, but he's learned he's basically out of his muttering habit because of his confidence, but he's not quite grown out of being nervous. So anyway, of course, he's got his equipment checked out with the school, and he actually comes in his superhero suit because, yeah. But then he gets told to change into his UA suit, so he has to take the web slingers out of his spider suit and put it onto his UA suit, so he doesn't have his AI with him. The reason he's allowed the webs is because he's checked it alright with the UA school, whatever, executive board, like sparkly shiny guy with his laser. Sorry if I don't remember his name. The one that gives the cheese, that's what I'll remember him by. The one that gives the cheese, like how he checked his equipment, Deku checks his equipment in. So, anyway, due to Deku not being on his feet, although he's like prepared, he's fought, he can fight robots, he is not quite as spontaneous ready to work on the spot like he would be if he fought actual villains. So this means when Mike Head says to go, he's one of the last ones to react. This is because his spider sense doesn't pick it up because it's not danger. Just so you know, he can't spider sense his way out of this one. So he realizes everyone else is gone when he needs to go. So then he goes, but he can use his webs to slingshot himself ahead of everybody else, because there's like two big walls either side. So he does that. He's in front of most of the people other than Ida, because Ida had a head start and B was speeding. So Deku then decides to go, okay, better start fighting these robots. He sees a one pointer, he web slings over to it, and so he shoots a web at it, pulls himself forward using that web, and punches a robot using the momentum from him, because he slingshotted himself in the air, shoots a web at the robot and pulls himself towards the robot and punches it pulls himself towards the robot with his left hand, punches the robot with the right hand, square on in the face of the robot. This completely annihilates it off, and Deku shakes off his knuckles and goes, "Ow, that hurt a bit." Of course, now correct me if I'm wrong here, Spider-Man does have a slight healing ability, so he does kind of bruise his knuckles, but he don't really feel it because of his super strength, and it heals over by the time. Well, it's one of those injuries that heals dead quickly. So, anyway, Deku then goes up, runs up to another robot, uppercuts it. This is another one pointer, completely annihilates the head off it. Then he hears his spider sense go off, and a 2-pointer swings at him. Deku dodges it easily, jumping up in the air, slingshotting it again, pulling himself down, upper punching it, hit his head downwards. The 2-pointer robot falls off. Its head falls off. Next, he realizes that the other robots are quite far away, so he decides to slingshot himself up in the air and do another one of those sky ground pounds, I'll call them, I guess. He does one of those, he shotguns himself. What did I call it? Catapults himself up into the air again using 2 webs either side of a building, and ground pounds another robot. There's a robot near there, so he web slings to that robot and punches it. He's just web slinging to all the robots and punching them. That's when his spider sense is going insane, so he looks around to see a huge, and I mean a huge robot. He realizes this is the 0-pointer. Deku uses his common sense to be like, okay, I should probably ignore it. That's when he hears screaming from under the rubble. He realizes that the girl that saved him from before, his now new acquainted friend, is in trouble. This doesn't stop Deku anyway, because of his hero instinct. He runs directly towards the robot. He realizes that it's probably safer to get the girl out straight away. So what he decides to do is use his spider webs to shoot the robot. To shoot the rocks in front of the robot's feet, pull the huge boulder away, which takes a lot of his strength, and then quickly shoot the girl, pull her with the webs over to him, and tell her to use her float ability. She uses her float ability to save herself, and floats down to the ground slowly, and then froze up. Because what Deku did, he pulled her away in the air, and before she hit the ground, she used her float ability to save herself from hitting the ground hard, but of course she used her float ability on herself and threw up. Deku was ready to go catch her if she couldn't use her float ability on herself, but luckily from the conversation before, they found out about each other's quirk and how she could use it on herself, but it used a lot of energy, so Achaku is now out of the count, but he still realises that I've got a Chaku somewhat further away, but I've not got it fully away, so I still need to take care of the 0-pointer robot. That's when Deku is like, okay. Star Wars, I can use my Star Wars method. He's a huge nerd. So what the Star Wars method is if you've seen, I think it's like the 4th Star Wars? No, it's like the 5th or the 6th Star Wars, sorry. I'm sorry with the names or the movie references here, but what he's going to do, he's going to web sling the robot's legs and basically pull it over that way. So, what Deku decides to do is do that. He does that by running along the buildings and jumping across and basically using his enhanced abilities to wrap his webs around the robot's legs, swinging around him and wrapping up his legs nice and tight. He then pulls it, which causes the robot to fall over, but then Deku realizes, wait, if the robot falls over a certain way, that could be problematic. So Deku then web slings towards the robot and double kicks it with both his legs and all his body. This causes the robot to fall away from the students, causing nobody harm, and then Deku's there catching his breath, realizes that his web slingers have run out of webs, and that he's pretty roughed up, out of breath, and he probably can't take any more robots. So he's hoping that the robots he's taken out is already okay. So he runs over to Achaku to see whether she's okay. She's fine. Then he's like, okay, I've caught back my breath. If we have any more time, I can go get some more robots, and hopefully so can Achaku. So they're both getting ready to get what's it called, to destroy more robots, and that's when the honk of the horn goes and the time's over. Deku is then panicking whether he's got enough points, and Choku's like, you'll be fine. Deku's like, what about you? And she'll be like, hopefully I'll be fine. Even if not, you did the great thing. Thank you so much for saving me. Deku's face goes red a bit, and then he's like, it's okay. I'm just glad you're okay, you know? And then Uchaku smiles, Deku smiles, it's all the awkward lovey-dovey stuff, you know how it is. Then the doctor person, forgot her name, the nurse, doctor, lady, kissy one, comes over to check if they're okay, checks that they're all fine, and then they all go home. That's when All Might's there, and he's overlooking the battle, and he sees Deku and his heroic powers, and so does everyone else. He sees his heroic ability. Now, you're probably wondering, what's happening with One For All? Well, One For All was offered to Mirio, but Mirio declined it. The reason he declined it is because he didn't ever see himself as, well, no, he wants to rely on his own power and become a great hero with his own power before he takes on All Might's One For All. So All Might's like, okay, that's when Mirio says, fine, if you've not found anybody from the first year students, and if you've not found anybody when I've had 2 years to become a great pro hero, I'll take on the Quirk. But if you find somebody better, more suitable than me, give it to them. So basically, Mirio's not taking the Quirk until 2 years of being a pro hero. So that's like 3 or 4 years from current plot. So All Might has 3 or 4 years to find a better suitable candidate, which he's gonna do by following Class 1A in UA. Or otherwise, Mirio's going to reluctantly take it for the greater good of Hero Society. Right, so what's next? Oh yeah, back to the story. So basically, All Might's still looking for a better protege, better person to take over One For All. He's got his eye on Deku because of what he's done, but he's not going to offer it to Deku yet because he still wants to keep his Small Might and One For All a secret for as long as possible, just in case Deku becomes an evil character, which he doesn't think it's likely, but he never knows when it comes to One For All. Going back to Deku's after Deku checks whether Uraka's alright, Uraka does offer Deku her phone number, and Deku takes it, of course, and they do meet up. They meet up the day after the hero exam. Uraka says thank you, Deku says thank you, and they just have a meal together, and they go to the cinema and just be mates, basically. So now they're close mates, but in their minds they're both stressing about whether they got into the hero exam, and of course Uraka did offer to give Deku her points to the exam board, but the exam board said, oh, they're fine. So yeah, that's what Deku do. So Deku basically, he works out and hangs out with friends like Uraka, but and some friends he picked up from old school, because of course he's not bullied for being a huge nerd like he was last time, because you know how society works. So of course he gets the results from UA, finds out about All Might. All Might says, well done for being courageous, hero. Look what Uraka did for you. Absolutely fantastic. Oh yeah, you got into UA. So, basically, to summarise this episode, Deku fought in the UA exam, got into UA, and of course had a friend date with Uraka. That's not really important, but yeah, it happened. You know, for the people that ship them out there, thought why not do a little bit of fan service for you. Anyway, after that awkward conversation from me, I apologise for that. It's the perfect place to end this. Well, he's gotten to UA and he's Aizawa. He's about to do the Aizawa test. But first of all, let's just iron out. So he's been on a date with Uraka. Well, a date, friends. You know, they went out with each other between the end of the UA exam, and now this is just to discuss things. So first of all, Deku told her he got in. She told him she got in. That was really confusing for absolutely no reason. But yeah, they both tell each other they got in. That's an easier way to say it. And then that's when Deku drops some other information that you guys haven't heard about yet. It's about how he's also doing a part inventor course. This is because he does invent stuff. So what does this part inventors course do? Well, due to him being really smart at inventing, after school, every so-and-so, it's like an after-school club, he does an hour of inventing machines. Would be, of course, for the most focused on him tweaking his suit, and this will all be done with school property. This is because the school is minted, and they can do that. Yeah, so it just means that Deku's suit will slowly get better, because right now it's got pretty basic AI. It's got webs, but the webs can shoot, yeah, I guess. And of course he has his suit, but more's gonna come to it. But that'll be further down on the line. Right. I swear I can hear somebody moving upstairs, which is quite spooky, because it's 4 o'clock in the morning. But we move. I really shouldn't have started this with a window open. If I die, you guys won't know, because I'm kind of ignoring my channel anyway, which I shouldn't do. So hopefully it's back for good. Yeah, hopefully. I'm just gonna yeah, right. So yeah, they discuss all that, blah blah blah. It all goes fine. They become closer friends. They swap contact details. What about about his inventors thing? So that moves on to Deku spends the next couple of days just training up his muscles, blah blah blah. You know, all the boring stuff we don't want to know about, and then we're gonna skip to the Aizawa part of the story. So he walks into UA. Of course, he hopes that Uraka's in his course, because otherwise he has no friends there, because Bakugo kind of has a rivalry against him, but hates him at the same time. It's weird. It is weird. But yeah. I'm sorry, just give me a sec. Pretty sure I'm being followed, but hey, it's all good. Right, so Deku's hoping Uraka's in his class. Of course, he walks into his class, sees that there's Bakugo there, knows that Bakugo bullies him, so that's not very good. Why the hell can I hear people upstairs? I know I probably is really unprofessional, but I am scared right now, so yeah. Oof. Anyway, I'm never going to move on to the story. Right, okay, so he walks into class, realises Bakugo's there, Bakugo's a go at him, blah, 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 blah. Then Uraka comes up behind him, they have a nice friendly talk, and then Aizawa comes up, and he's like, what do you guys think you're doing in my classroom? Don't know why I gave him such a high-pitched voice there. I didn't want to go the Batman route, so we went that route. Oh, great. Oh. Right, so, anyway... Aizawa walks in and basically tells them, shut the hell up, this is my classroom. Yeah, you sit down, I've shown you that I'm serious. Oh yeah, we're skipping orientation, because orientation is for weaklings and people that people that waste time. oh, what's it called? I'll skip the word. Uh, yeah. Yeah. People that waste time, and we're not wasting time here. So yes, get onto the field. Oh yeah, the person that comes last will be kicked out of UA. So yeah, they all get changed into the hero costume. No, they're UA costumes. One thing that is different is Deku didn't bring his web shooters. That's because he simply forgot. And they're also built into his suit, which isn't the smartest idea because, yeah. So this is where he gets the idea to build the web suit, well, build a portable version of the web shooter so he can use it in his UA outfit. This will be important later, but that's very later down the line, so yes. Anyway, the Aizawa exams, let's just skip. Because Deku got the highest points, he gets to throw. The throw, he gets decent. Bakugo actually beats him with the throw. This is because he's just got his super strength with him, which just pales in comparison to the ability of Bakugo's, well, the strength of Bakugo's quirk, if that makes sense. Because, sure, he's strong, but it's not going to be an explosion now, is it? Like the amount of proportion you're going to get from literally being at the epicenter of an explosion is going to pale in comparison to itty bitty spider strength, you know? That's what I think anyway. If you're wrong, if I'm wrong, I'm awfully sorry, but yeah. He does get it like superhumanly far. This is how he does with the rest of them. This places him in the mediocre spot, like not top of the class, not bottom of the class, high, middle, which is good. It's pretty good, especially because Deku was bottom of the class before in canon, so him being high medium is good, it's all good. Or low top, I guess you could say. Ugh, sorry, I've made my coffee way too strong. So if we're gonna just quickly get back on track, because otherwise we're gonna waste time, which is exactly what I'm doing right now. Mineta gets threatened to kick out, but due to Aizawa having kind of a connection, he decides not to kick out Mineta, which is all fine and dandy. So, I'm gonna have to stop this video again. I really think there's somebody behind the door, and this is scary, so I'm sorry. I'll be back in a bit. Right, I'm back. I've put some headphones in to kind of hopefully muffle the background noise because I'm pretty sure I'm making it up by myself. So, anyway, no one gets kicked out the UA that immediately because Aizawa has a connection to Mineta. Sure, he's gross, but at least he's, like, he sees himself in him. Of course, he sees a stupid person, but his quirk has potential. If you get my drift. I've done this before in What If, so sorry. I'm gonna make this What If crazy. Because I want to. Blast, bless him, absolutely fantastic. I'll link his channel in the background. We talk a lot on Discord, and he's made me realise something. It's like a midlife crisis of a YouTube video. My YouTube videos, they follow the same pattern of canon. It's like repeating canon. So, very soon I'm gonna throw a spanner into the work. I probably should tell you this later down the line, but hey, why not now? I'm scared. I'm not thinking straight, so we'll go with it. Right, anyway, so what's next after this? It's the All Might UA exam. So you're probably wondering, oh, Deku's gonna get beat, isn't he? Well, this is where the spanner in the work is. No, this isn't the spanner in the work. The spanner in the work's later. Right, so Deku, Bakugo, Uraka, and Ida are all put in a team. Well, no, they're put in a group. Deku and Uraka versus Bakugo and Ida. How will it go? Well, All Might doesn't have the connection to the students like he did before, so he's looking for the next predecessor. He has his eyes on Deku because of what he did in the UA exam, which is like to save Uraka, if you remember that. So Deku's got his eyes on by All Might. Jesus Christ, that was the worst way to say it. But anyway, so Deku walks in like he normally does, and Bakugo charges towards Deku, leaving Ida there. Bakugo coming at Deku, and Deku and Uraka slowly walking their way through the what's it called? I want to say attraction, but it's not attraction. The workshop. It's not workshop. Training. I'm so sorry. I'm looking behind me, so I'm sorry if the sound's gone off. Maybe I should put like Kermit the Frog in the background, just music blasting down my ears. Maybe like the OP to My Hero or something. So it's so scary. I don't know why. My house is making creaking noises, and I should focus back on the video, which is exactly what I'm gonna do right now. So Deku is walking through the training, and that's when Bakugo, of course, charges at him with a mini explosion. Deku's spider sense goes off crazy, so he pushes Uraka out of the way and jumps out of the way himself, and Bakugo misses his explosion. That's when Deku quickly counterattacks by running into, well, he jumps out of the way of the corridor and the explosion breezes past him. Then Bakugo swings at him with his right fist. Deku knows that punch is coming, so he grabs a punch and flips him over and swings him onto the ground. This really damages Bakugo, so Bakugo grabs up against the wall, and before Deku can do anything, he realizes that Uraka is in the line of shot that Bakugo's shooting at. So he goes to jump towards Bakugo, realizes that if he hits Bakugo with full strength, it's possible he could kill him, especially after the incident before, because right now, so Deku is on the far end of the corridor, and he swung Bakugo over, who's still laid on the floor, but now is aiming at Uraka, who is in front of Bakugo because Deku pushed her out of the way. So Bakugo's in between them. Deku's running towards Bakugo, and Bakugo's getting ready to pull off one of those big gauntlets, kind of hoping that Uraka can dodge it, which she would be able to, but Deku doesn't fully know whether he can. So what Deku decides to do is tank the shot. He doesn't know what happens if he smashes a gauntlet, because the grenade has already been initiated. It's scared that it'll backfire on Bakugo, where it will hurt him because he won't be able to dodge it. So All Might says the exam's over, but the gauntlet's already initiated, and Bakugo's not letting go because he knows what Deku will do. So Deku jumps over Bakugo using his super strength, and of course that means super speed, superhuman strength and speed, and literally does a piccolo, and jumps in front of the explosion to save little Gohan, which is Uraka. This causes this causes Deku to slouch onto the ground, but of course, due to his superhuman ability, it hurts him, but it doesn't take him out for the count, though he's like bleeding heavily, and the only thing that's keeping him going is the adrenaline, because his whole back is just fried. His suit, because it'll be his suit this time. His suit is fried, but he still manages to stay on. His AI says he's in critical condition, because of course his AI is there, but all it can really do is tell the the storage of the shooter, and whether he's in critical condition, and and the condition of the suit. So that's when Bakugo stops, because All Might says the exam's over, and they all get pulled up. All Might looks at Deku and says, "I'm proud of you, kid, because because of what Deku did, which was jump in front of the explosion, saving Uraka, who could have dodged it, but we didn't know whether she could dodge it, if that makes sense. Whether she was dodging it, you know, like in canon. Sorry. So basically, Bakugo nearly hurt somebody badly, but Deku jumped in front, which gets All Might noticed on him, and they also defaulted win because Deku acted so much like a hero. But like All Might basically says the hero team win by forfeit, and Deku gets MVP. That's the training over. Of course, all the other trainings go the same. Yet again, this is kind of going back of what I said earlier this episode, but all the other trainings go the same. With the all the other trainings go the same with the whole teams being the same. Sorry about saying same so many times. So this then, what does this lead to? Wait, it is next is it's the USJ incident, but that's going to be next episode 6. So Deku and the rest of his classmates are heading to school. They head into school, and Aizawa has something important to say to them. First of all, he says the most important thing he's ever said before, and he makes that very clear. And you know what he says? He says, like and subscribe to my channel because I'm desperate. That was such a cheap plug-in, but then he goes on and starts to tell them about the USJ and what will be happening. So, of course, the students find out about where they are off. They're off on a road trip to some sort of training facility. They don't fully know yet, so they all get into the bus. Bakugo gets mocked, and basically, even though he pulled some funny stunts in training, no one actually got hurt. So Bakugo didn't get suspended for this important training trip. So they all go on the bus. Bakugo gets mocked for basically being villain-like rather than hero-like, which he was. The bus then stops after the bus then stops after chatter between the students has happened for a while. Deku sat next to Uraka because Uraka wanted him to. So yeah, that happened because they're friends. Yeah, they're like buddy, close friends, and she's grateful to him saving her. So they all get off the bus because of course they're there. And everyone's like, wow, this place looks ace. So they walk inside and they see that 13's there, but All Might isn't. So All Might went out training, and of course he is losing his quirk. Of course not as dramatically as in the series, but he's still lost it enough to the fact where he can't really teach. So he's going to be there late, like the series normal. And all the students are already in the hero outfit, meaning that Deku, he repaired his hero outfit. Well, he did that in his inventor's time. Oh, sorry about the whistle there. He did that in his inventor's course. You know, when he went to do the inventor's course after school. Of course, he just has a one-on-one with his gear and the equipment, really. And the school has allowed it because he did do the Shield Island inventor's course. So getting back on track, can I just have a quick drink of water? All Might isn't there because he's just done what All Might does. So they all 13 is starting to explain what the USJ is, and Deku's surveying the place, and he's like, well, I seem like I'll be very useful in the city zone, but I'm going to be pretty screwed in the water zone due to the nature of my quirk. And that's when a black fog cloud starts to fill the whole USJ arena. We, of course, know that this is the teleport villain's quirk. So, yeah. But all the students don't know that yet. All they can feel is an immense evil aura as what look like average-looking villains come down from the skies. Come down from the skies. It's literally raining. Average-looking villains. But then we see the two big bosses come. But we feel two big bosses coming. But before that happens, portals appear under the students' feet. Deku, of course, realizes this, attempts to dodge it, but either way, he can't because the portal engulfs him before he can dodge it. So, this is because he was too busy talking to Uraka. That even though spider senses were going crazy, he thought it was because of the huge villains which distracted him. So basically, he was talking to Uraka, then the villains coming in distracted him from knowing what the spider sense actually was, which was a portal underneath him. So the spider sense did fail him there, which is kind of a plot hole, but we'll go with it. So Deku gets sucked up by this portal and ends up, of course, on a boat with with Tsuyu Asui and, sorry if I mispronounced or got a name wrong, and of course Mineta. So they devise a plan. Well, no, Deku gets saved. Well, Deku, first of all, he appears underwater. He panics, but then he remembers, okay, I have super strength. I will grab one of these villains, smash him together with another villain, and then use my spider webs to go to the boat. I'm glad I made these spider webs waterproof before this mission, because that would have been a big fault. I'm still... Whoa, I just heard a big bang. Anyway, Deku's thinking to himself, I'm still kind of weak in the water, but I can maybe pull it off, hopefully. So, that is when Deku gets saved by Tsuyu Asui just before he's about to grab the villains, because Tsuyu Asui wanted to get him onto dry land. He says, thank you to the frog-looking girl, and Mineta does his Mineta things, and Deku is made uncomfortable by that, of course, because it's what Mineta does, doesn't it? So anyway, that's when Deku comes up with a plan. He tells Tsuyu Asui that he's gonna need her help throwing him up into the air, and that he's gonna need Mineta's help to help stick all the villains together. What Deku's plan is he's going to use his spider webs. He's going to use Tsuyu Asui to chuck him up into the air. Then he's going to hopefully shoot a web up onto the ceiling, and then shoot multiple webs down at the villains below, attaching them to the web and causing them to basically all be elevated in the air by the spider webs. The reason he needs Mineta's quirk is to, once they're in the air, clump them all together so that he can use his spider quirk to make the web going on the ceiling longer to basically support the amount of people. So how this plan is going to work is, well, Tsuyu Asui throws him up in the air and he shoots a web at the ceiling and kind of like clings onto that web upside down. He then shoots two of the villains, testing the weight. Basically, he shoots one of the villains with the web and attaches it to the web he shot at the ceiling, and shoots another villain and attaches it to the same web, testing the weight. And then he gets Mineta to throw sticky balls at them to clump them together. He does that with the rest of the villains very quickly to make sure that they don't have enough time to react against this or use the quirks to attack them, and also because the boat is now sinking because they have attacked the boat. This plan barely works, with Deku using up basically the whole of his webs on this attack, but he did take out all the villains pretty much single-handedly, because Tsuyu Asui, she was there. Deku then jumps up from this elevated ball in the air, to be saved by Tsuyu Asui, because he jumps off the ball, dives into the water below, and then gets Tsuyu Asui to swim into the shore. That is when they see the main, a monstrous looking human. Well, is it human? It's more of a tamed animal, but the power, well, aura emanating from it is similar to All Might's. He then sees his teacher, oh, his teacher Aizawa, in danger. He sees that his elbows are being evaporated away from what looks like a unmoisturized man who's never seen moisturizer in his life, like his skin's rotting away from his own body, which has multiple hands covering his body, most importantly his face. So Deku realizes that Aizawa's in trouble. Immediately he shoots a spider web. He shoots his last spider web at him. This means that he's completely out of web slinger shots. But he gets Aizawa out of the way, who's heavily damaged, but nowhere near as damaged as he was in the original canon. That is when Deku jumps in to the fight and gets ready to fight. He easily dodges most of Shigaraki's hits due to his spider sense, but struggles a bit with what's his name? Oh, I want to say struggles a bit with the Nomus, there we go, but struggles a bit with the Nomus, realising that he's the more formidable opponent, having punches that feel like they're on the level of All Might's, even though he's not really been near All Might. He just feels like this could be the level of All Might's. Just going to take a quick sip of coffee. These punches quickly tire out Deku, and the pure rocks being flung from the Nomu missing the punches are causing scratches to Deku and actually tearing his suit. This is just from pure air pressure and punching and rocks and flakes of the rocks. Deku realizes that if he didn't master his spider sense with the shield on Eye Island, he would be dead right now. He then feels his spider sense trigger from behind. He's a bit more on edge because A, he's fighting what he thinks is an All Might level villain, and B, he got tricked out by the portals before, so Deku dodges and punches below to realise that no one's there, and instead sees a portal-looking thing with the shriveled up hand grabbing at him. He then realises the third person there, and it's a portal guy. The portal guy is working together with Shigaraki to try and get a hit on Deku, but of course his spider senses are absolutely overwhelming him. That is when he takes a hit from Nomu. This isn't a direct hit, but it's still a hit. This knocks him quite far away and slows him down quite phenomenally. Deku realizes he's got to take out the portal guy straight away. He uses his spider sense to dodge a few of the attacks from the portal guy, as he's been relentless after the Nomu's hitting him. He then realizes that the Nomu is actually brainless. This gives him an idea. So, he dodges the portal guy's attacks and jumps on top of the Nomu. This takes incredible speed from Deku, and he catches his breath on the Nomu very quick. He then uses his spider sense to jump up just before the Nomu grabs him. This causes the Nomu to harm himself, not realising what he was doing because of the amount of force he was swinging at. Then Deku stands in front of Shigaraki, and dodges a grab from Shigaraki. That's when the Nomu charges at Deku, and Deku quickly darts out of the way last second. This causes the Nomu to almost charge into Shigaraki, but before then, Portal Guy moves him out of the way. That is when Bakugo and Todoroki come in. Bakugo realizes the Portal Guy's weakness straight away and goes straight for his weakness, which he gets, well, straight away, as Todoroki freezes up the Nomu Todoroki freezes up the Nomu, slowing him down even more, and also catching Shigaraki's feet. They realize that Deku is struggling here, and without their help, he would have probably been a goner within the next 5 or 10 minutes. Todoroki then begins to freeze the Nomu even more, but the Nomu just shivers it off. Deku realizes that if he could maybe take out the ringleader being Shigaraki, without him touching him, like he did to Aizawa before, he could maybe get the Nomu to stop attacking. So that's what he does. He starts targeting Shigaraki. Of course, the portal guy is now distracting Todoroki and Bakugo, but Todoroki is also distracting Nomu, so that leaves just enough time to opening for Deku to charge and punch at Shigaraki. That's when the portal guy opens up another portal, and Deku feels a cold hand grab the back of his neck. The aura is immense, even more bigger than the Nomu's, and Deku's instantly flung away. In the heat of the moment, Deku tells Bakugo and Todoroki to run. This is because he knows the immense power of this creature. By now, Ida has made it to All Might, and All Might is making it to the battlefield. I feel like this should be known, as Deku is flung away, like I said, telling Bakugo and Todoroki to retreat. Even the villains are distracted by the sheer power Deku has thrown away. This sheer speed knocks him into the side of the arena. It causes the whole arena to shake, as Deku blacks out for a moment, to then black in, to then black out, to then wake up again. But his vision's shaking as he looks up to see a guy in a mask. He then says, "Ah, so you're the Deku I heard about." Deku's like, who the hell is he? He coughs up blood. This is a first for Deku. Deku realizes that his back is basically out of the fight, and so is the rest of his body. He's bleeding immensely internally. Will Deku make it? That is when a flash of wind breezes past Deku. A golden blue, white and red suit with golden hair, and his iconic smile is there. Behind that smile shows fear. Deku can see this fear close up, but from far away, you can't tell that All Might's straining his smile. He's holding on to All For One's fist before it can reach Deku again to kill him. Just want to clarify, what happened was All For One has used his immense speed to run towards Deku, and he's got him pinned up against the arena by his neck. The whole arena shook from this, and All For One is pulling back a punch to get ready to punch Deku, but before he can, All Might comes and grabs his fist. This causes the air pressure to be pushed away and create a wall of air pressure which cuts the ground. All Might's suit is instantly peeled back from the force, and blood has come out from both the fist and his hand. That is when All Might goes, "Detroit, smash!" swinging back with his left arm to punch All For One in his weak spot, which was his mask. All Might and All For One are getting ready to pump it out, All Might then grabs All Might then grabs One For All. No. All Might then grabs All For One, rugby tackling him away from Deku, and tells Deku to run. Deku tries picking himself up but realizes he can't. That's when Uraka comes and uses his float quirk and runs away very quickly as a rescue attempt. And Tsuyu Osui and Mineta are following them. Tsuyu grabs him with his tongue and they all take him out of the arena. Deku fully blacks out. We're now going to focus on Bakugo and Todoroki. Even they know the immense power, so that even they decided to run away. This is mainly out of this is mainly out of fear. No, this is mainly out of respect for All Might, thinking that he's unstoppable. He's invincible, basically. It's also because they're scared that he can get in his way, and also they're scared of the Nomu. The Nomu then focuses on All Might as well, as All For One tells the portal guy to make Shigaraki retreat. So Shigaraki retreats. It's now Nomu and All For One versus All Might. Who will win? Well, I'm going to keep this episode going because there's no reason to stop it, actually. It's got quite rhythm to it, so you'll find out this episode, hopefully. All For One and One For All, or All For One and All Might are in a stalemate. They're locked punches. This causes the whole ground to shake, and luckily due to Deku and Todoroki and Bakugo all taking care of the portal guy, no one is too heavily injured that they can't escape. All Might then clenches under his breath. Everyone, run away! This causes the rest, any student that's at the entrance to run away. Everybody's running away. Other than Deku, who's of course unconscious, so he's being carried away. Deku then wakes up and says, "Take me back." Of course, they all refuse. The rest of the pro heroes that then arrive. This includes Recovery Girl. Deku demands Recovery Girl to heal him so he can help with the fight. Some of the pro heroes refuse, but then they remember Deku's heroic spirit and realize that really, as a hero, he should be allowed to make his own options. He's old enough, and this will destroy him as a person. Is it really worth him being destroyed as a person? So, Recovery Girl heals him, and basically they recommend Deku not to go, but Deku goes anyway because I don't really know, because yeah. So basically, no one was got injured, including 13, but 13 was still told to run away by All Might. So was Deku, but Deku, thinking he's strong enough to take on the Nomu, tells everybody else that he's off in anyway. The reason they don't stop him is because they really should have, but they realise that he's probably the next predecessor for One For All, so he should go back up All Might. This is a really bad excuse, but this is one of the times the the teachers were worried for All Might himself, but at the same time they saw him as a unbreakable symbol of peace, so they let him go anyway. The reason the rest run away is because they had the other students in mind. Also, Deku, they knew that Deku would go either way, so they might as well heal him and let him go, rather than he go in the pretty much dead state he was in. Well, no, he wasn't dead, he was just unconscious, and his back was highly damaged. Not broken, just highly damaged. So he got a kiss from Recovery Girl and quickly ran back into the hall. Uraka wanted to go with him, but realised that probably isn't a good idea, so she's also told to go with the rest of the students. So everybody's there. Everybody's gone away, has evacuated, other than Deku, All Might, All For One, and Nomu. All For One and Nomu clash fist. All For One and All Might clash fist. This pushes away Nomu and pushes him towards the door. That's when Deku arrives and manages to punch the Nomu. This, of course, doesn't damage it. This, of course, damages it, but it doesn't nowhere near kill it because of the immense strength of Nomu. But you've got to remember the strength of Spider-Man, which is he could kill a person in one punch. If you remember me talking about that earlier. So Deku, So now it's Deku versus Nomu near the entrance, and the other side of the arena, it's All Might versus All For One. The fight between Deku and Nomu goes quite smoothly for Deku. This is because he's now fully recovered, but he doesn't have his spider webs, so it's like 50-50, but he realizes that but this time Shigaraki and the portal guy out there to distract him, so basically he can dodge the Nomu's attacks and he forces him to go into his surroundings, and the way Deku defeats him is by going above him, so that Nomu punches up in the air at full strength. Deku grabs onto the Nomu, swings around him on his back, double kicks the Nomu. He jumps off the side of the elevated stairs as the Nomu punches up in the air. This punch hits the ceiling and causes the ceiling to fall on top of the Nomu. He actually does that a couple of times, and that is when the Nomu stops moving. This isn't because Deku defeated the Nomu. What happened was, All For One, who was controlling the Nomu, is distracted and now fully forced on the fight between All Might and All For One, which Deku's now watching after the Nomu was quote-unquote defeated, and as for Shigaraki, he's out of range, if that makes sense. Yeah. So basically, the Nomu was doing nothing because its instructions was broken because of All For One being so distracted by All Might, and I'm saying he's the one controlling the Nomus. So, how is All For One and All Might's battle going? Well, their fists are clashing like they are before, and that's when All Might realizes Deku's there, so he's even more careful about it, but he realizes that Deku's kind of out of the blast radius. But that's when the whole arena starts to shake. If the arena wasn't built to withstand even more than a tier 5 hurricane, a factor 5, I forgot what it's called, top range hurricane, the whole arena would be knocked down. Even Deku's being pushed towards the wall of the arena from the amount of air pressure that's being pushed out. That's when All Might, smoke starts appearing from All Might, and he starts going into Small Might form. Don't get me wrong, All For One's damaged, but he's nowhere near as damaged as All Might. All Might's nearing his end. That's when Deku steps in and tries to get some damage, but he just can't, and he's blown away by the air pressure. He does recover himself, so he doesn't smash against a wall, but he realizes that even if he gets close, he's just going to be a nuisance to All Might. That's when All Might screams, clenching behind his breath, "Deku, I get that you want to be a hero, but it'll all be good, because I am here." He then pulls back his fist in Small Might form, and it grows big. He says, "I'm gonna defeat this damn villain in one punch. Just you watch me." United States of Smash. He gets a clean United States of Smash on All For One. Okay, I swear I heard something in the background, but anyway. He gets a clean United States of Smash on All For One, but All For One recovers from this. He then grabs All Might by the neck, struggling to breathe himself, struggling to move himself, but still able to move. Grabbing All Might by the neck, he cracks it. Deku hears a crack as he realizes that All Might is defeated. All For One places the lifeless body on the floor. He then disappears in a weird liquid that he used to travel towards Shigaraki. But Deku doesn't know that yet. Deku quickly runs towards All Might, realizing that All Might is on the last legs of his death But what on the last legs of his life, All Might then says, Deku, your hand, it got damaged in the fight earlier, right? It got scratched by that Nomu, and when you were pushed away, when you was pushed away by the wind of all for one. Deku's like, yes, it's got scratched a bit. All Might then says, grab my hand. Deku, of course, grabs the hand. Yellow electricity circles around All Might's hand and then transfers onto Deku's hand. The electricity goes from yellow to green to red. This then goes towards Deku's body, as he can feel a slight change. This is One for All entering his body. All Might then clenches from underneath his breath. I don't know whether it'll transfer, but I choose you to be my predecessor, and hopefully, if she's looking from above, she will know this and help me transfer. All Might then clenches his fists as he. All Might then clenches Deku's hand, to then suddenly lose a grip. All Might's hand falls off Deku's, sliding some more blood from All Might's hand onto Deku. His hand lifelessly hits the floor as All Might's last breath is breathing out. Last breath is breathen. All Might loses his last breath. The symbol of peace is dead. Deku has won for all. Ta-da! That's the end of... So guys, you just sat for an hour and 40 minutes. I gotta congratulate you. If you've sat through this, put in the comments Dave. I would understand if you haven't, because the audio does mess up partway through. So I thought, how could I make this even worse for myself? I'm actually recording this before the intro. So yeah, what did you think of the cliffhanger? Because I thought the cliffhanger was pretty good. If you hate cliffhangers, I am sorry. I will try and do a sequel, maybe, potentially, I don't know. Depends on how many people watch this, really. Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you finished your snacks. If you got a drink, I have a coffee. Here, I'll sip my coffee. Yeah, if you have popcorn, I hope you finished that. Anyway, yeah, just thanks for watching. Fantastic crowd. Keep up the amazing work. Hopefully I can hit 1.5 by whatever. Just hopefully I can hit it generally. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye. Have a nice evening. Thursday today. Bye.